Hello and welcome to the post-week 13 episode of the Gem City Gridiron Roundup podcast. As always, I am your host, Dalton Van Pelt, Scotch on the sidelines, turning the label to you if you want to drink along. You can typically find this at your most grocery stores or most grocery store liquor stores.
I guarantee
decent amount of liquor stores.
Guarantee you can find the good old Jameson Irish whiskey. JMO. Leftovers from Thanksgiving. Still working on those leftovers, but it's leftover booze. I had a glass of wine before this, so.
As always, I am your host, Dalton Van Pelt, Scotch on the sidelines. I might have already said that. I was multitasking. That was probably a bad idea.
I told you.
With me, as always, we have the commish.
Yeah, I'm back. But not quite like that. It's a good bounce back week for me, for the folks that needed a win. And we'll get to that.
It's a pretty chalk week for the most part.
Yeah, pretty chalky week. The good players went off and the bad players did not. All right. Not a whole lot of surprises in the fantasy realm this week.
No, not in terms of the matchups that matter, but there were some surprises elsewhere.
There was.
Why does it look like something's glowing on my camera side? Oh, it's the reflective paper. I don't know what's going on. I haven't even had anything to drink. Anyway, IRL football. The Cowboys cover. I make money. The world moves on.
There you go.
Taysom Hill did not play very well. Played well, but well at the same time. He was a good running back, poor quarterback.
Definition of bad real life quarterback, fantastic fantasy quarterback. Love it. If you have him in fantasy, you love it. If you're a Saints fan, you hate it.
Let's see. He ended up with whatever 26.4 divided by 25 is plus 10.1 on the ground.
He had a 20.66 with
there
4
you
picks.
go. That's Jalen Hurts numbers right there.
100 rushing yards. That helps out quite a bit. So he did get bailed out with a 70-yard Deontay Harris touchdown in garbage time.
Who I believe is now suspended for 3 days because of DUI. Or 3 games. 3
weeks, correct. Tony Pollard has a massive 58-yard touchdown run. Need to get him the ball a little bit. Zeke looks very hobbled at it. I don't know why they just don't, sit him for a week. Not they don't even need to sit him for a week, but like split the load a little more even, give him a little bit more time. They should have been able to beat this team without Zeke. But
I think Zeke's issues are chunky issues, if that makes sense.
He just looks hobbled. Like his knees look a little shot.
I don't know. I saw a stat. He has like one of the least elusive running backs this year based on his touches. I think he has like 15 illusions on advanced stats.
He does not have many broken tackles this year. They just run him up the middle and hope for 3 yards in a cloud of dust.
Michael Gallup gets saved. He was pretty heavily targeted. His day gets saved by the toe tapper. He beats somebody in the red zone, which is Michael Gallup's specialty, especially because Mari Cooper was slow to come back.
Yeah, he looked good on that end zone catch. Mari Cooper did play.
Everybody was fantasy relevant except for Dak.
Yeah, and Cooper. He wasn't very relevant.
You're right. 6.1 is not the best. But CeeDee Lamb came back strong.
Where do you think, and this is a futures talk, but obviously I don't think Michael Gallup's there next year.
Is he a free agent?
He is. And I don't know if they have the room to pay him.
No, they wouldn't.
So the futures talk is, where does he go next year? Is he a true number one? Is he like a solid number two?
He'll get overpaid somewhere. I'll tell you that much.
Mm-hmm. Goes to a place that needs I don't know. I don't even know. Maybe New England.
I just feel like he was not going to do anything in New England. I don't know.
Most receivers don't.
This is his last year. He made a little over $2 million this year.
Yeah, so
he'll probably be looking at like 8 a year.
Yeah, minimum. Probably that 7 to 8 area. Excited to see where he goes next year. And new face, new place. I mean, something to look forward to next year as we wrap up this season.
I think he's more of a prospect. 2019, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Yeah, and everyone had high hopes for him this year, but he had that calf strain right before the season started. Yep. Missed quite a few games, and obviously you can see. I mean, he's very talented. Product of
Baylor.
The Baylor.
Yeah. Oh no, Colorado State.
Yeah, there you go.
Colorado State. Baylor was their previous third wide receiver, number 83. Gosh dang it, his name escapes me right now.
Oh, well.
Anyway. Saints had a couple opportunities to do things, and they were just turned the ball over. Cowboys were actually way more dominant in this game than the final score shows.
Yeah, it was a blowout from start to finish, really. So, needless to say, Dallas is in the driver's seat for that division.
Tampa Bay takes care of business against the Falcons. Cordell Patterson have a decent game, I'm guessing.
Yeah, decent game.
An all right game.
Yeah,
like
no touchdowns.
Yeah, like 15 points.
Yeah, give or take.
About what you expect. Mike Davis vultures the rushing touchdown as well as
it was a 17-yard touchdown though, so it wasn't quite a big vulture. I mean, it was pretty far out.
No. Russell Gage out of nowhere.
Nice game.
11 for 130. And Chris Godwin, 15 receptions. Holy cow.
Yeah. Why can't
another big day from Fournette?
Why can't the Falcons just get Kyle Pitts the ball? Like, you're targeting Russell Gage 15 times.
He was targeted 7 times. Does that help?
No. You drafted him 4th overall. Like, what are you doing? I know Calvin Ridley's not there, and that definitely affects the coverage that he's seen, but man, you got to get a little bit more. I don't know.
Do you think the absence of Antonio Brown actually cleared some things up for Tom Brady this week? Like he actually knew who to target? Because it looks like he targeted 3 dudes like crazy.
Yeah, he's going to target 3 dudes like crazy every week, but it just depends on which 3. So when Antonio Brown comes back, it wouldn't surprise me if he gets, a 10-target game right out of the gate when he gets back from injury / suspension. So wouldn't surprise me. Rob Gronkowski, 2 tutties for that guy. 90 career touchdowns, second all-time duo behind Peyton and Marvin Harrison. So
that's cool.
Yeah. They're still quite a way off from that. I think Manning Harrison's 118 touchdowns. So that's still 28 touchdowns away. I don't know if they got 28 more touchdowns in them. But
I guess it'll depend on Gronk.
I bet they go. I mean, I could just see them riding out in the sunset together, both being in the Hall of Fame the same year. Like the boys, the bros.
Yeah, Gronk's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, wait. First ballot?
Yes.
Just so dominant tight end. It's not like
the postseason numbers too.
Yeah, his postseason numbers are ridiculous. Probably the best tight end. You could probably argue the best tight end ever. Just the way. I mean, anything. Gonzalez.
You could argue it. You can argue it. Gonzalez, Gates.
Yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Different eras.
But. Different. I mean, Gronk in the condensed window that he's competing.
Yeah.
His career is impeccable. It's nasty. Crazy. Oh, it's amazing. Cardinals
cover. Kyler Murray has a big game on his first game back after quite a long absence. They ran the piss out of the ball after taking a pretty sizable lead. It was a grapple game.
It was a grapple game.
Out there in Chicago. Looks like 7 targets for everybody on the Bears. Nobody really did anything with it. Dave Montgomery had a big game.
Yep, grapple. I mean, you get the ball on the ground. James Conner had a great day on the ground. David Montgomery had a great day on the ground. Kyler Murray, great game on the ground. So we have a Jimmy Graham sighting another old tight end, another 1 yard touchdown.
It's 2 weeks
pass.
in a row.
God, it's so disgusting. Get rid of him.
Chargers beat the Bengals. I watched this game. This is about the only thing I watched on Sunday in terms of football.
Real weird.
I was watching it. Yeah, the Chargers were smoking the Bengals, and then they slowed down. The Bengals started catching up, and then all of a sudden the wheels fell off, and defensive touchdown. And Justin Herbert was launching the football all over the place.
Yeah, it was 24-22, and Mixon fumbled the ball and got returned to the house.
And that was all she wrote.
Yeah, but it was so weird like that. The sequence before that, like the Bengals score the touchdown, they get a penalty to move it up to go for 2, and then they take a timeout on an extra point. Then they come out of the huddle, and then they get a delay a game out of the timeout. Then they say, okay, let's just kick the extra point. And then he misses it. It was just like they didn't deserve any points at that point. And then 2 possessions later is when Mixon fumbled. Mixon did leave the game a little banged up in the first half, but he came back. Joe Burrow's pinky looked a little awkward.
His whole hand swelled up going into halftime.
Yeah, it was really weird. But he should be fine.
Texans put up a goose egg against the Colts. The Colts are just continuing to fight. Jonathan Taylor, 32 carries. He is a beast. I don't really know if the Colts are serious postseason contenders, but they're looking like they're trying to fight for a spot in the dance.
Oh, I think they're going to be in the dance.
Probably with 7 teams. Yes.
Yeah. So
not much else to talk about there.
They got the winning formula. They got the running back. They got a game managing quarterback. They got a good receiver. They got a decent defense. But when you can run the ball 32 times, and Jonathan Taylor, the best running back in the NFL right now, and nobody can stop him.
Nope. Broncos have an inept day at the office as Kansas City takes care of business. I did not see any of this game. However, it looks like there was not much going on at all. I think it was a very cold day in Denver, just like it was here in Rollins yesterday.
I believe it was in Kansas City at Arrowhead.
Okay, I just made up a lie, but that's all right.
I didn't watch much of the game. The game didn't really intrigue me that much. But one thing we do know is the Broncos do kind of play the Chiefs pretty well. They kept Mahomes, contained through the air. Mahomes does get a rushing touchdown. Just a low-scoring game.
Save his day, probably.
I mean, they didn't let Tyreek Hill. They didn't let Travis Kelce beat him. They just ran the ball and kicked a bunch of field goals. Got a pick 6, and that's all she wrote. It wasn't a pretty game. But it was really weird for the Chiefs to be this sloppy coming out of a bye, which is concerning.
I don't think they like the cold weather.
No, the Broncos, I mean.
This was a winnable game for them.
It was. The only bright spot was a garbage time touchdown to Javonte Williams. Javonte had I believe almost 30 points in fantasy. Just a great day.
He had the workload to himself with Melvin Gordon out.
Everyone's all hyped for Javonte now. I mean, Melvin Gordon's going to be back next week. So calm down. I mean, he's going to be a great prospect. So that's something to look forward to. You lost me? Did you hear me? I still got video going. Test. 1, 2. And we're going to be right back.
All right. Brief interruption. We had some connectivity issues. No worries. Moving on. Dolphins, Giants. Tua looked good again.
Yeah. They're playing the Giants. It was a Mike Glennon game. The long neck of the law, Mike Glennon. Real sloppy game. Jalen Waddle, great player. Man, He's fun to watch.
He is on the Jarvis Landry plan.
He's going to be better than Jarvis Landry.
2-point conversion good by Bolden. I thought he was ruled out this week. Guess not.
He's going to be better than Jarvis Landry. Should be.
Yeah, he's higher talent.
Dolphins have won 5 in a row after starting 1-7.
That's
They're
crazy.
Now 6-7, so they are marching on. So we'll see how.
I believe they covered.
Yeah, I'd assume it was probably like depends on what the closing line was. I'm sure closing line was probably closer to 5-6 without the starting QB.
Yeah.
But
Glennon also suffers an injury, which is not going to allow him to play next week. So we will be seeing from Georgia product Jake Fromm.
Jake Fromm, baby. Yeah, that'll be fun.
Apparently said racist text messages, and that's the reason why he was never really in the mix for anything. But we'll see what happens on Sunday.
Yeah. The Vegas closing line was 6.5.
So they did cover.
They did cover still. I'm sure the opening line was probably 3.5, 4
before Jones was ruled out.
Yeah.
Eagles take care of business against the Jets. This one was looking a lot closer in the first half. Zach Wilson was actually performing pretty well before halftime. He actually didn't end up with a terrible day. It appears that nothing was going on offense outside of him.
It was such a fun game to watch because
was it
Gardner Minshew? Man.
Oh, the mustache
man was back, and he looked good. Granted, but he's a backup quarterback and playing against a crappy team. He should do that with the successes that he's had, and he was targeting the hell out of Dallas Goedert. 2 touchdowns for Dallas Goedert's first multi-touchdown game of his career. He just signed that long and nice extension with the Eagles. Miles Sanders was running well. He did get rolled up again. That ankle injury did not look good. So he's going to probably be out again. Can't stay healthy. Kenneth Gainwell got in the mix. He had an 18-yard rushing touchdown. But Minshew looked solid, poised, did not get a whole lot of action from Devonta Smith. But then it was the Jake Elliott field goal show after halftime.
I turned off the next game way too early. Steelers edged one out against the Ravens. The Ravens once again failed to cover. They cannot cover at all. They lose 20-19. I turned it off when it was 16-0. 13-9 is when I turned it off.
Yeah, Pittsburgh scored 17 in the fourth quarter.
That's crazy.
To take the lead, 17 unanswered to take the lead. Or, yeah, something like that.
Yep.
Deontay Johnson, really good wide receiver.
You won the trade this week. That's for sure.
For sure. I needed all those points. Well, what'd you think of them going for 2?
I did not see it.
So Pittsburgh goes downfield, takes the lead with the Deontay Johnson touchdown with a minute 48 to go. Lamar marches them down. They're only down 6. No, down. They're down 7. And Lamar marches them down the field. Big chunk plays to Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews, and then Sammy Watkins eventually catches the touchdown. And they go for 2. They go for 2 for the win. They didn't try to kick it and go to overtime. And they went for 2. They said the reason was they had 3 corners go down in the game. Said we had no cornerbacks left. We were going to try to win the game there.
That makes sense then.
And
weird decision.
Yeah, Andrews. It was a little further. It was to Mark Andrews a little sprint right, and they brought the house and Lamar. It was just a little bit off target. But Andrews was, he's a big receiver and just went off his one of his hands and wasn't able to quite tip it to himself, and falls incomplete, and that was the ball game. It was an interesting one. I only caught the fourth quarter, which is the fun part.
The only part to watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did watch the end of this game. The football team takes care of business against the Raiders. This game was relatively low offensive production.
Yeah, Washington.
Fourth quarter once again was entertaining.
Washington's won 4 in a row now.
Yeah, them in Miami. This is why betting on the NFL is so aggravating.
It's so hard. It's one of the most even sports professionally. We say every time,
any given Sunday.
It's Cody. Sackett's team name. Any given Sunday, anyone can beat anybody, no matter the records. I mean, you go back when Jacksonville beat Buffalo. Like, people say, how the hell is that going to happen? But they're all professional athletes, and it's one of the most even professional sports out there. So very tough to predict. That being said, Washington with Taylor Heineke, doing wonderful things. Antonio Gibson looks great down the home stretch. Bummer Logan
Hunter
Thomas.
Renfro was the only one targeted by Derek Carr, it seemed.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs did have a career high 9 catches after Kenyon
So it was
Drake.
him and Renfro, and that was it.
Yep, Kenyon Drake went down, broke his ankle.
Which is good for Josh Jacobs, bad for Kenyon Drake.
Yeah, very bad. And Logan Thomas looks like he tore his ACL, but they're not.
He did not.
So just a really bad
strain. Yep.
Strain. He'll probably be out the rest of the year.
They thought it was ACL or MCL, and he didn't tear anything.
Probably be out the rest of the year. So, yeah. I guess I don't know what a strained ACL. That still sounds pretty bad. Because if they do
4 weeks.
Well, if they put him on IR again, he's done for the year because he's been on IR already. So
he's probably done.
I would say he's probably done. So it'll probably be Ricky Seals-Jones / John Bates, the tight end dart throws. Very disappointing for Foster Moreau, for anybody that played Foster Moreau. So that was a bummer. The backup to Darren
Rams
Waller.
light up the Jaguars. The Rams finally did what the Rams are supposed to do. Cooper Kupp was 100% silent in the first half, but in the second half, he shows up. Sony Michel with the ginormous day on the ground. Darrell Henderson.
Yeah, that was really weird. I know, like, Henderson, he practiced on Friday, and there was not a whole lot of clarity in the situation, what was going to happen. And obviously, people that played Darrell Henderson got burned bad.
Well, he was ruled out.
No, he was active.
Really?
He was active, and people. I mean, everyone's like, well, maybe he'll get a little bit. Maybe he'll get still the bulk of the work, but not quite. His 90% share. Maybe it's like 55-45. He didn't play a damn snap. I got burned hard in one league. I played Darrell Henderson, and the other guy played against me had Sony Michel. That did not work very well. So needless to say, I'm going to lose that matchup. But yeah, it was just really surprising, and I didn't have any other options, first of all. But just really surprising. But Stafford spreading it out. Van Jefferson got a touchdown. Odell Beckham got a touchdown. Cooper Kupp catches the longer touchdown. Usually Cooper Kupp's the red zone machine, but OBJ, not ODB, OBJ, a 1-yard touchdown, and Van Jefferson, a 2-yard touchdown. So trusting those receivers a little bit more for Stafford. Think you can play probably pretty comfortably any of the receivers.
Yes. And the NFL is weird. The Seahawks beat the 49ers. I thought this was the lock of the weekend. 49ers -3. Turns out the NFL is weird.
George Kittle, freaking boss.
Yeah, he went off.
Oh, yeah. That tightrope on the sideline, that was nasty.
Still wasn't enough.
Still wasn't quite enough. Seahawks get on the board with a Travis Homer 73-yard fake punt as the up man, which was a fun little play. Adrian Peterson's corpse shows up in Seattle and gets the 1-yard touchdown.
11 for 16 and a touchdown.
His first carry was for like -5 or -6 yards.
Oh my God.
They're like, what? They're like, what in the hell did you see in Tennessee that made you want to bring Adrian Peterson to Seattle? Just because Pete Carroll's Pete Carroll and he can do whatever he wants. I mean, don't get me wrong. Peterson's one of the best running backs, especially of our generation. It's like great running back. It's a bummer to see him like kind of get drugged through the mud a little bit. Still giving it his all. I mean, he's got 2 touchdowns this year, is more than some other folks. Still great to see him play, but he's about time to retire. I think he really just wants to pass Frank Gore. I don't think he believes Frank Gore is a better runner than him, and I think he probably just wants he's right behind him on the all-time like rush list, like rushing yards. And I know Frank Gore's played a lot longer than Peterson, but I think that's probably something that's a pride issue. Like, Frank Gore's not freaking better than me. Why that? I'm not going to let him be ahead of me in the all-time leading rushing yards. So I bet Peterson's just trying to get to that and be like, okay, I'm good now.
Touchdown Bills.
Gabriel Davis for him.
Dwayne Eskridge has the best game of his season so far.
Yep.
DK Metcalf, the week that everyone sits him, scores 11, so that's flex worthy. And Rashad Penny gets it back into the mix, doesn't do anything with it, but he's back.
Can't start any of those running backs. It's tough. So,
and the final matchup we have to talk about, I saved on purpose.
Perfect. I was glad.
It is a good segue into the second half of the show.
Yes. I'm already taken off my cork. Let's pour another one.
Cheers. This one's
for Dan Campbell.
Lions. This one's for Dan the Man Campbell.
Dude, they love him. Like, I've never seen a team, be that. I mean, they've been in a lot of games. They've covered quite a bit, but just haven't gotten over that hump. And, these are grown ass men, and the way they, talk about him and in the locker room and everything, like that dude's a good head coach. He's not going to be fired after this year. They're going to give him a few years, like players coach by the definition. So,
well, he was a player, so that makes sense.
Yeah. So, it's good to see. But yeah, break it down.
The random Amon-Ra St. Brown game, he actually ends up with the final touchdown to seal the deal to get the Lions their very first win. Of course, everyone's had this guy on their team at some point, and
Amon-Ra,
he finally goes off.
Finally.
Justin Jefferson, monster game with no Adam Thielen.
Yep.
He was there. He just got hurt really early, and he won't be back for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think they said high ankle sprain, which is never the 2-3 words you want to hear.
No. Madison doesn't do much with what he had the opportunity to do.
He had
Jamal.
He had a pretty good game still.
He did. I just figure on 22 carries with the talent, you'd think he'd have more than 90 rushing yards, but
yeah,
the Lions shut it down. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Jamal Williams, you kind of wanted more in the receiving, but it seemed like the Vikings secondary just opened wide open for the Lions the whole game. It was a good matchup going in. The Vikings are the worst team against wide receivers in fantasy land this year, so that makes sense.
Yeah, the thing that bit the Vikings in the butt, I mean, they could have, kicked some extra points, and they're playing the numbers game and everything, and they go for 3 times. And
failed
all 3 times. Run failed, pass failed. So,
and that's the game.
Yeah, you lose by 2. You kick all 3 of those extra points, but and the thing is, analytics now, and you're trying to narrow the game. It was 20-15. You go for two. It's only a 3-point game, so you only need a field goal instead of the 2 touchdowns. And so I get that. But yeah, just great. Minnesota was a 7-point favorite at home or on the road, and man, it was great to see Goff and the Lions, reach that, the illustrious 1-10-1 record.
And we just keep talking about it. The Lions keep covering.
Yep. It's great.
I don't know why I bet anything else besides Ravens not to cover, Lions to cover, parlay. That's probably plus 400.
By the way, is Mike Zimmer going to get fired?
No.
What if they lose to Pittsburgh next week? On Thursday, you drop to 5-8, you're probably out of the playoffs.
No.
No.
I think the Vikings will stay loyal to him at least until the end of the year, and then we see. But
I don't know.
I don't think so. He's had quite a bit of success.
I mean,
his system works.
Yeah, it's been
tough. Their talent was a lot better in previous years than it is this year.
But speaking of firings, Panthers offensive coordinator Joe Brady got fired today.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, so Joe Brady's the problem in Carolina. That doesn't seem right. After he had a great year last year, and he interviewed for head coaching jobs, but he's the problem.
Look what he did with Sam Darnold for the beginning of the year.
And yeah, Sam Darnold tanked. That's probably something to save face for Matt Rule.
He had to do something.
Had to do something.
And Matt
Rule's
owner
probably
is
Tepper.
Yep.
So I'm sure Matt Rule's probably going to call plays. But Joe Brady, he's going to land on his feet. He'll probably find another home in the NFL or work back down to college. But great, good offensive mind. But that was the news for the bye week teams. What's the score?
Or are you ready
right now?
We got 8-7. Patriots have the ball ticking down to the end of the first quarter.
Nice. I do not have the game on. It's probably taking up too much bandwidth.
That's all right. Would you like to press on, or do you need a break?
I'm good with whatever, Mr. Host Man.
All righty. Well, let's start it off. I lose the matchup that we talked about last week, which I needed to win. Good thing I snuck one out the week before. I'm still in the driver's seat. A win next week, and I solidified the number 2 seed.
Yep.
The number 1 seed in the WAR division.
Correct. Yeah, tough week. I mean, you put up a good week. You just got the duds that you couldn't have. Your Myles Gaskin even every other week did not work out.
He'd been good 2 weeks in a row, so I figured why not 3.
Yep. And Josh Reynolds was fine. I mean, almost 11 points. Terry McLaurin and Travis Kelce, your two guys you drafted early, did not do great. And that's the difference in the ball game. He's just got guys that can consistently go for 20. Yeah, he's got guys that go for 20. Jonathan Taylor, Hunter Renfrow, Michael Pittman.
Does Devontae Freeman play out of nowhere?
Yeah, he's been playing him for quite a while. And with Aaron Jones on a bye, and he didn't
have any other options.
Yeah, he could have played Claypool, but he's been pretty down all year. Another 150-point week for Heath. We've talked about his team throughout the year. He's going to move to 8-5. He's going to still stay in that 4-5 matchup right now. Dalton, you're still looking in that 2-7 matchup. You're not falling from there. But if you lose next week and Heath can pull it out, you could drop. So we'll have to wait and see how that works out. But
not very much so.
You're still in control for the number 2 seed in the league.
Yep. Break down your matchup.
Yeah, it was nice to get to, crack 64 points by the halftime of the first game, which is really great. It was great to see scoring some points. Finally got some touchdowns. It was great. Got the big Dallas Goedert game. I was actually debating playing Dallas Goedert. I don't know. I'm glad I stuck with him. I was a little worried about the Gardner Minshew. Like, is it going to be a one-man show? And it was a one-man show, but it was the Goddard show.
The right one man.
Yeah. And I played both. I just kind of said, I'm just going to go with it. And it was the Goddard show. I do like to say if I, have two guys playing for the same team and one guy catches 2 touchdowns, one touchdown can go to the other guy. So Devontae Smith actually has a touchdown on his stat line this week. Great Deontay Johnson game. I mean, we've talked about it. Same thing, 2 touchdowns. One of those can go to Najee Harris. That's fine too. But Lamar Jackson, his stat line's super weird. Alexander Madison, I mean, he didn't have a great box score day, but still 21.5 fantasy points.
That's all you need.
That's all you need. He's a plug-and-play RB1 with Dalvin Cook out. I roll the dice, and I played Van Jefferson instead of Odell Beckham. DeAndre Swift was out, so just kind of had to make some tough choices.
Didn't matter either way.
Patrick gave it his best lineup. Tyler Conklin's the only one on his bench that put up some points. He just didn't quite have enough firepower this week with a couple guys getting banged up. Galladay left the game. Miles Sanders left the game. Elijah Mitchell left the game a little bit. Tom Brady, fantastic day. Dude's good. Hashtag analysis. Dude's good. So
Sackett whoops up on Lean. Lean was leading all day long until tonight.
Yep. Quickly, Patrick's going to drop to 8-5. I will move up to 7-6. That keeps me in the 6th spot. Keeps Patrick in the 4-5 matchup. Yeah. Lean was leading all week.
Eliminated.
That's for sure.
Yep. He had an outside shot at still making the playoffs, and he is done. Cody moves to 11-2. The number 1, number 3 seed are still not wrapped up just yet.
Nope. That will be decided next week. Lean, Dak Prescott, Dalton Schultz, Traquan Smith on Thursday, pretty much straight buried him. After that, it wasn't going to matter really what happened. I think Sackett would have the inside track of taking the matchup regardless after that Thursday night.
No, you've got it mixed up. Oh wait, no, sorry. You mean like they didn't do anything? Yeah,
they didn't do it. I mean, Dak scoring less than 12 points. Schultz was, less than 10 points. Traquan, 2 for 15. At that point, I mean, he got the nice game from Sony Michel and Keenan Allen, but outside of that, it just wasn't meant to be again for Lean. He had a nice little 2-game win streak, but Sackett's moving to win number 7 in a row. Which means if he can pull off the win next week, we would have 2 8-game win streaks this year.
Wow.
But that puts Cody still in the driver's seat. He is in the number 1 spot at 11-2. Lean drops to 4-9. He will, barring any outside debacle, he will be in the toilet bowl for the 2nd straight year.
Interesting. Luke beats Cole. Cole falls to 5-8, which is danger zone for him and his chances at making the playoffs. Luke needed this one to keep pace with Cody.
Yep. Luke will reach that 11-2 mark with Cody as well. Cole drops
George Kittle.
Yep. George Kittle, a big man on campus. And Fournette, man. Eckler. Like, it's all good. Like, his team's good.
It's all good.
Cole will drop to 5-8. He still is in the 8th spot. He will have a 1-game lead on Lean, Dark Horse, and Stewart. So there could be a few things that shake out, but depends on how tiebreakers go. But Luke will get to 11-2, get him back on 3 wins in a row. And like we've said, we've talked about the number 1 seed is the number 1, number 3 seed will be decided next week. In a preview of the matchups that matter. But that's going to be a fun one to watch. I know they're both itching to get another crack at it to see who can take home that 1 title. How about so that was I will get that updated in the Hall of Records. That is a Curse Like a Sailor Bowl with Cole and Luke. Luke has been dominating that matchup the last 2 years. So that'll be interesting. And then the newly
another Hall of
acclaimed,
Records matchup.
the newly acclaimed, the Hot Chicken Bowl. Dark Horse, I believe, is undefeated in the Hot Chicken Bowl. So Dark
takes
Horse
out Drew.
takes him out. Yep.
But Drew locks up a playoff spot.
Yep. Drew will be in at 6 and 7. He has a one. Yeah, he should. He's going to wrap up that 7 spot. It looks like he could go down to 8, depending on, if Cole wins next week and kind of see what the tiebreakers look like. But Drew is in the playoffs after having a rough first season in the Gem City Gridiron. Congrats, Drew. Your team has battled. Maybe next year don't draft Zach Moss.
Yeah, in the 3rd round, 2 years in a row.
But this year,
it worked out.
Gronkowski, he's had some big boom weeks. So don't look past anybody, especially with a no-bye playoff. We don't want that to happen. But it looks like he's going to wrap up that 7 seed. Dark Horse does get the win though. He gets to 4-9. We have the 3 teams at 4-9, 1 team at 5-8. So we'll have to wait and see which teams
for the 8th spot.
For the 8th spot.
So Lean isn't eliminated, but I feel like tiebreakers, he's probably at the bottom.
He did have a good out of conference record, whereas Garrett was 0-6, and Drew did not have a very good out of conference record either. So Lean may have the inside track to that. But Dark Horse does end a 7-game losing streak. We've had big couple of losing streaks this year. So good for Garrett to get off the schneid, as we say. He will also move to 4-9. And
the story of the weekend.
Finally,
Hosanna.
The Lions win and Blaster
wins.
It's great. It's great. 2 winless teams get their first win. Blaster puts a great 132 points up.
David Montgomery.
Love it. Saquon. 15.
Screenshot this because this is monumental.
Is great. And I love, he was just like, get ready to drink. I don't think we've cussed yet, but he's like, fuck DK Metcalf. I'm not playing him. I'm playing T.Y. Hilton over him. I don't care. And T.Y. Hilton only scores half as many points as him. So
and still wins.
and so fuck DK Metcalf. Good for him. 28 points from T. Higgins, like we said. Mike Gesicki, a tight end 1 week. Mike Evans, a great week. David Montgomery, fantastic. Sorry, Brinkman. We've talked a couple times throughout the year. You've had the rough injury. You've had the worst injuries this year by far. Bummer for you. You're now lost 5 in a row. You're one of these 4-9 teams is going to get in potentially.
You think? Oh, potentially.
Potentially. It all depends on what Cole does. There could be a 4-way tie for the 8th spot. So
I think whoever gets the 1 seed has the easiest matchup ever in the history of Gem City Gridiron.
Potentially. But Brinkman has Justin Jefferson. He's got some of the players, but he just doesn't have enough firepower. Aaron Rodgers on bye. Kamara's missed a few weeks. Chase Edmonds has missed a bunch of time this year. Sterling Shepard's missed a bunch of time. It's just been Corey Davis is now out for the rest of the season with core muscle surgery. So just not Brinkman's year, but we are very, very glad that we will not have a winless team in the Gem City Gridiron. Another year down. He does end the longest losing streak ever in the Gem City Gridiron history, 12 games in a row. Not a record you want to have. He has wrapped up the 12th place finish this year, but only one, mark that, only one player that finishes last in the regular season has also signed the toilet seat. So he has those numbers.
12
Timmy.
Nation. Oh,
Timmy.
No, that's right.
Yep. Timmy's the only one that's done it both. So he's got that going for him. Maybe he can get a little hot this week. If he does not win next week, it will be the single worst regular season ever. Every last place finisher has at least finished with 2 wins. So
including Dark Horse.
Dark Horse. That was 2 years ago. Dark Horse was 2 years ago.
Was it?
Yep.
Oh, yes, it was.
Yep.
Yep.
So, but
it's Garrett's 3rd year.
The worst record ever was There's been plenty of 2-12s because we played 14 regular season games the first couple of years, and then there was a lot of 2-11s. So Blaster could be the first 1-13 team in the history, but
it would be the one. He's still going to be the worst winning record team of all time because there's an extra regular season game.
Yeah, but we played 14 weeks in the first 3 seasons.
Right. Okay.
So there are a few 2-12 teams out there.
Okay.
So, but if he doesn't win next week, he will have the worst regular season of all time. But good on you, Blaster. It's just great to see, the Lions and Blaster win in the same week. You couldn't write it. Yeah. You couldn't write it any better than that.
All right. Moving on to the final week of the regular season.
Final week. This is where we're at. 7 spots clinched.
Locked.
Seedings have not been clinched. So there's still a lot to fight for, even for the ones that are in the playoffs. So there's still some seeding to be determined. We do know the 1 and 3 will be Luke and or Sackett. Just depends on what happens in week 14. But yeah, let's break it down. Let's start with yours.
Heath could be either 2, 4, or 5, I believe.
Yes, I think he's pretty much locked in that 4-5 matchup.
Or 2.
He does have Drew, so it could drop Drew down to 8th if Cole were to win, because they would be tied. I believe Cole owns the tiebreaker. So seeding for Drew,
7
he's
or
going
8.
to be 7 or 8. Heath, it looks like you said 2, 4, or 5. Early projections. Heath is going to be finally without Jonathan Taylor and Michael Pittman.
Oh no!
So
terrible week for that in a must-win game for him.
But Drew will be without. He's been streaming kicker defense.
Patriots.
And Kendrick Bourne.
Miami and Patriots are out.
So Miami, Patriots, Eagles,
Colts.
And Colts. So 4 more teams on bye week next week, and then we're done. Jesus. I know it's been a weird bye week schedule, but early projections you can never take with a grain of salt. Doesn't matter. So doesn't matter. But
must-win game for Heath. It doesn't really matter for Drew.
Let's move on to trying to see playoff seedings. Let's go. We have Dark Horse and Blaster. Blaster obviously out of the playoffs, trying to spoil someone not to get in the playoffs. Garrett still has the outside chance of getting into the playoffs. Very slim, as he went 0-6 in the other division. So most likely he's going to be out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I think he's done.
I think he's probably outside looking in. But early projections have Blaster with the win, but there's, again, some buys, players in bye week and lineups. So
the matchup of the weekend.
Oh, let's save that for last.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
So let's go to the one that doesn't have us. Okay.
Both of us are actually facing 2 teams that are in a must-win situation in order to get into the playoffs. You are facing Lean and I am facing Brinkman. Both of them absolutely have to have a win to have a chance at the playoffs. That doesn't mean they're in. They have to win to have a chance.
Mm-hmm.
I, on the other hand, need to win to wrap up the 2 seed.
Yep. So go ahead.
I think I can be either 2 or 4.
Yep. I think that's where you're at. 2 or 4.
Corey Davis is out. Aaron Rodgers will probably play. Kamara is questionable. Edmonds is on IR.
Edmonds should be back next week.
And Shepard's probably going to be out as well. And that is all for Stewart. I will be without Gaskin, which actually makes my decision-making so much easier because I'll have Dontrell Hilliard coming back off of bye. And maybe Debo.
Yeah, it looks like Debo may be out 1 more week.
Which is fine because I can just plug Elijah Moore back in.
Yep.
Which is likely what I'm going to do.
So you have a win, and you are the number 2 seed.
Lose, and I'm either 2 or 4 if I lose.
Mm-hmm.
To be dependent on Heath choking.
Then my matchup, again, Lean needs to win and Cole needs to lose. So it all depends on what happens with Cole. But I play Lean. It's pretty funny that the 2 weeks I get to play Lean, I have Alexander Madison and Dalvin Cook's out. We had him when we went to Dallas, and that was the 1 week I whooped up on him. But he can bounce back.'s got good players. I mean, it is what it is. The funny thing is, I haven't. Everyone's been pretty quiet this year. No one's talked a lot of trash. We do not have a single call out bowl yet this year. So there may not be a call out bowl this year. Because I think everyone wants to be on their good P's and Q's for good juju.
You've seen what happens.
Everyone's kind of quiet this year. But I am projected to beat him. Keenan Allen does go on the COVID list today. It says he is vaccinated, so he still has a shot to play this week. Again, Lean is in a must-win scenario to get in. I have pretty much locked up the 6th spot. I may be able to get to the 5 spot, just depending on what happens if Pat were to lose. But I believe Pat beat. No, I beat Pat. I think we split. So it depends on that tiebreaker, but I think I can get to 5, for sure 6. So we'll go one more real fast. We have Patrick and Cole, which is a big thing. I believe Pat's pretty much locked into the 4-5, no matter what happens. I guess he 8-4. I guess he could drop to 6th if he loses and I win in tiebreakers. But inside shot of him being the 4-5.
Pat's playing a weird role that I almost would like to see Cole lose and the other 3 teams win, just to have that kind of craziness.
Yeah, it'd be crazy. Projections have Cole he's got good players, but his team's just not performing. It wouldn't surprise me if Patrick wallops him this week after a couple down weeks for Patrick, losing 2 in a row after starting.
Pat's going to have some running back questions, which he's had all year long.
Yep. And the matchup of
the creme de la creme, matchup of the year.
It's great. We have the 11-2 Any Given Sunday, good time, and Lucas freaking Stewart, Monsters and Freight Trains, both 11-2, both tied for first place in the league. Winner take all for the number 1 seed. Sackett.
And either way, they will not play each other until the championship game in the playoffs. Fun fact.
They would be on the opposite side no matter what.
Yep.
That being said, I have crunched a few numbers. Luke,
of course,
if projections hold, Luke has a chance to be the highest scoring team going into next week.
Oh,
so
snap.
Triple Crown could be on the line. Oh,
man.
Could be. It could be. It depends on what happens this week. It depends on what happens with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs. But you are right now the points king. So just by a little bit, but Luke's could put up a big number this week. So Luke could be projections if they hold. He could be the point leader by about a point or so. So that would be a fun little interesting story too. That if he is the points king and he's able to pull this win out, there is a realistic shot,
inside shot at the.
Yep, and we haven't had that in quite a while. But Sackett is looking pretty dicey for next week. He's losing his 2 Patriots running backs, Patriots defense, who's been carrying him for a while. And
I don't think it matters for him. I don't think it matters.
No, he makes it work no matter what.
Yep. What was the final decision on regular season for the extra cash? What did we decide?
I have to go back and look it up. I think it's most points.
And it was a cash prize, if I remember correctly.
Yes, for most points, because the number one seed automatically gets the 8th seed. That's already a prize almost.
Right.
So,
okay.
I believe it's the number points getter. So points are up for Luke, you, and myself.
Oh, I have a possibility at a points lead?
You do. If Luke doesn't hold projections, you could still be the highest scoring team.
Right.
And I would be projections could hold that you and Luke are going to be within probably about 2 or 3 points. And then I am going to be about 10 points behind you. But behind both of you guys. So I'll be about 10 points behind you. So it depends on what happens with Luke. But yeah, Luke has already looks like he has already set his lineup for next week.
I just did the same.
Ready to go. Obviously, he's not playing Logan Thomas. Hunter Henry's on a bye. Not playing Jeff Wilson. Jalen Waddle hits his bench. Luke's projection, early projections, 141 for early projections. That's a little scary. He's able to throw Chuba Hubbard back in his lineup with Christian McCaffrey going down. But you never count out the 2-time champ in any given Sunday. As his name says, it's any given Sunday. We've been doubting his team all year. Yet look at him. He's got a shot at the number 1 seed. And he's got a shot at it. No doubt about it. Him and Luke, 2 teams just on a collision course. Kind of reminds me of last year. 2 teams on a collision course that have been so dominant all year. So
okay. Bets. It is time.
Oh God, I haven't even done it. Oh God.
Oh man.
Okay, I'm bailing out. This might be the spread year. It's ridiculous.
Okay, let me pull up my phone.
Yeah, let me get my DraftKings.
It's time for me to make bets again.
Yeah.
I really don't want to. I mean, let's start this out right. For next week, the Lions and Ravens, neither of them are on a bye, correct?
Who?
The Ravens are actually not favored against the Browns.
Well, it's my bets.
No. I know, but we're starting this off right. We're going to say the Ravens will not cover 2.5 points.
Okay.
And we will say that the Lions will cover 8 against the Broncos.
There you
go. Plus 272. So we're going to go, okay, to pay $17. My DraftKings has not been working today.
Let's see here.
There we go.
Maybe we, since it's been a DraftKings type of season, how about we mix and match this week?
In what way?
Well, we do what we've been doing on DraftKings. We do a couple spreads and we do a head-to-head.
All right.
So it's not
my last Sunday off. It's my last Sunday off for like 4 weeks. So sure.
Yeah, I mean, we could do that. I mean, we've done that all year long. We have not
Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon.
What do you mean?
For the games. Sunday morning. Just the 11 o'clock window.
Yes, for DraftKings.
11 o'clock window.
Oh, just 11 o'clock. So no 2 o'clock window.
Okay. Nope, just 11.
Interesting. I've never done that. So that'll be another wrinkle.
It's Cowboys, Washington football team, Seahawks, Texans, Jaguars, Titans, Ravens, Browns, Raiders, Chiefs, Saints, Jets, Falcons, Panthers.
Yeah, it takes a lot of big name players away.
Yep, I like it.
Okay, let's do a.
So 1 point will be
for DraftKings.
1,100 DraftKings fantasy.
Yep, and then we'll do 2 spreads. How about that?
Okay, sounds good.
So I will send you another invite. I'm going to try to just take all your DraftKings money in my pocketbook. By the way, I did a DraftKings.
Slapped me on it so far.
I was doing a DraftKings lineup this week, and I was feeling real good about it. And I kept checking. I'm like, how the hell am I only winning $10? I was like, I put it in a single entry tournament. I was like, felt really good about this lineup. and shit. I put it in a freaking double up. I'm like, fuck.
Oh no.
Oh, and I scored 190 points. Oh. It was a Gardner Minshew double stack with Quez Watkins and Dallas Goedert. And I had Gronk in there. I had Elijah Mitchell.
You failed, is what you're saying.
I failed. I failed putting it into a tournament. I mean, I doubled up. I was able to, cash, an extra $5. But sad to say, when I kept checking back, like I should be like I was in like the low 100, like high 100s. I'm like, out of 17,000 people, I'm only making $10. Then I scroll to the top. I'm like, they've won $10. I'm like, son of a bitch, it's a double up.
Yep.
That sucks. But all right, I will give you. We'll stay away from the Lions, and
because I already bet on that one.
Yeah, we'll stay away from the Lions and the Ravens.
There's more free money on here again.
You're trying to find the plus odds.
No, but there's free money on here. Anyway, continue.
All right, let's see here. So I'll give you the first pick. How about let's go. Where am I at? Okay, let's go with the.
I see a weird one on here.
Yeah, there's a couple weird ones. How about? Okay, let's go. No, that was too close. I don't want to do like 1 point spreads. Let's go Tampa Bay Buffalo, 3-point favorites for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
And I have first pick?
I'll give you the first pick.
I'll take the Bucs.
You'll take the Bucs? Okay. I'll take the Bills. Because I think the Bills are going to need to come out guns a-blazing. Okay.
And for the next one.
I got to pick first. Yeah, I almost could just make you go easy money and just like take this one, but I don't. That's not what it's about. How about we go? I like this one. It's a big spread. It's the Bears and the Packers.
Ooh, yuck.
11 and a half points.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
Who are you taking?
But it worked out this week. I'm taking the double digit. I'm laying the double digit points. Coming off a bye. I'm going to take the Packers 11 and a half.
Okay. Give me the Bears.
Okay.
Let's see. $3.73 on that one.
The other one that I thought was like super easy, and I didn't like, this line is out of control right now. It should be way higher. I think the Chiefs Raiders one. I think the Chiefs.
What do they have it at?
9.5.
I think that's too little.
I think the Chiefs are like
division game.
I know division games are always tough, but the Chiefs are. But the other one that was really funky was the Saints and Jets one.
Yeah, that's what I saw. That's a weird one.
Saints are 5-point road favorites. I mean, 5 points is weird.
There's a free money Cowboys -4 on the board.
Is there?
Yep. I took Cowboys -4 and the over of 48.5 parlayed together. It pays 270 something.
That was one that I looked at as well. Cause like
if it hits, it hits.
Every time I've bet, we've had multiple Washington bets this year. Every time,
so hard.
And I've hit.
You take Washington every time.
Every single time, and I've won every single time. And I almost did it again just to play the numbers, but I'm like,
no.
But a little recap of the board bets this week. I have conquered
2-1.
I have conquered the last 2 spreads. I have conquered them. Dalton did get me on the Chargers.
I thought it was starting off to a good game.
Yeah,
good week.
And
I actually had a 3-0 sweep until the fourth quarter of the afternoon games.
Yep. And then I squeaked out a Washington plus 2.5. Well, they won anyway. So, but I had the Washington bet. And then I laid the 10 points with the Chiefs coming off the bye. They won by 12. So that being said, the running total, or Zach with a 2-1 victory this week with a total of Zach 18 and 15.
That's close.
And the ones, I don't think Nick Chubb's going to be a top 3 running back, so I should win that. The Taysom Hill rush touchdowns are yet to be determined. I could still cash in on that. He only needs three more. You're gonna win the Calvin Ridley. Rams Cardinals play next Monday night. That will be interesting. And finally,
did I take the Cardinals?
You took the Cards to win the division.
That's right.
And I took the Rams. And finally, the
Jets receiver passes.
Elijah Moore, finally, the king passes Dalton Schultz in total points. I'm finally in the money on that one. That one's a 2-point. Elijah Moore only has like 5 points less than Amari Cooper.
Wow.
Yeah. Amari Cooper's been pretty bad after week 1. But
yeah, he's been hampered.
Yeah.
Another big run by Damian Harris. It just never stops.
Never stops. Bill Belichick
loves Josh Sackett.
and Sackett loves Bill Belichick. So
that's right.
Yeah.
That does it for this week.
Yeah.
We will be normally scheduled for the playoffs, I believe.
Yes, I believe so too. Any changes on, we talked last week on the teams that we think can pull it out. I think it's still probably the same teams.
Still the same.
Yep. It's whichever team can blow up.
Whoever makes the 8 seed has no shot. I'm sorry.
Well, 6 out of 7 years, the 1 seed has pounded them anyway. So
the 7 and 8 seed, neither of those teams have a shot.
I wouldn't count out Drew. He's got some firepower. I'm
counting him out.
Okay. If you're the 2 seed and he's the 7 seed, that's the call out bowl right there.
Sorry, Drew.
That's the call out bowl. If that happens,
all right, that'll do it.
All right. Well, we'll
talk to you guys next week when it's time to go into playoffs.
What's up? Should we touch on the toilet bowl next week then? We ain't.
Yes.
Okay. Reminder, quick update. Toilet bowl is a
2-week
semifinal and then a 1-week toilet championship. So we'll touch on all that as well after we kind of have a positions kind of solidified for that week.
So make sure you set your lineups for the people who do not make the playoffs.
Yep. That being said, congratulations to the 7 teams that have already clinched a playoff spot in the Gem City Gridiron Fantasy Football League. Cody, Sackett, Lucas, Dalton, Heath, Patrick, myself, and Drew. Sorry, Blaster, you are definitely the only team that is officially out. Good luck to Cole, Dark Horse, Lean for the final. Is there one more in there? No, that's it.
Yeah.
Good luck to those.
There's still another one.
No. Lean,
Cole,
Brinkman,
Drew,
and Dark Horse.
Yeah. So both Brinkmans.
Yep. Good luck to those 4 teams fighting for that number 8 spot. And let's finish this out strong. Everyone's enjoying it and keep fighting to the very end.
Later.
See ya.